When you enter the strongly fortified mountain village, you see a large group of miners standing around a shaft in heated discussion.
But even if you did, smashing the lift hoist, it would have been better to have not sent the cage down again until we cleared this thing up.
Is there a problem?
The older man, perhaps a foreman, is so angry that he hardly seems to have realized that he's talking to a dwarf.
Mika here says that he saw orcs in the mine, and he smashed the lift hoist to bits. The cage has crashed to the bottom of the shaft. How are we supposed to work now?
Can we help you somehow?
Help? Well, we'll have to repair the hoist, and we need a new cage.
The foreman turns to a man next to him for answers. He's just as muscular, with dirty, calloused hands and an angular face.
It will take at least 2 weeks, but we don't need any help, unless you can speed up time.
I'll need 1 day. 2 at the most, if there are problems.
The foreman looks aghast at the Technicus, unsure whether he's joking or not.
1 day? Have you got any idea how...
Fergus is the most talented Magister Technicus in Girdlegard. And anyway, what have you got to lose? Let him help.
As long as he doesn't get in my way...
The worker shrugs his shoulders.
Why not?
Good, we'll help you. And we don't want anything in return.
Ooh, that's generous.
The foreman looks at you distrustfully. He's the sort of person who doesn't like being indebted to others. Fergus immediately gets to work examining the hoist. After a few moments, he sends Mika off with a list of tools and spare parts, and explains to you how to build the cage, while he takes care of the hoist's rustic mechanism. After half a day, the cage is operational again, but Fergus is still busy with the hoist. You just hear him muttering.
So far, there is no automatic brake in case the ropes snap, but it shouldn't be too hard to fit one.
Fergus decides to fit the automatic brake, but it takes more time than expected. Building the hoist from scratch would have been simple, but the upgrade turns out to be complicated. In the end, it takes 2 days until the lift is operational again. After the work is done, you report to the foreman. A huge grin spreads across the foreman's face. You have just saved him a lot of time and effort.
We can't let you leave empty-handed. Here, at least take some provisions for your journey. And if you ever need some extra brute force against the orcs, I'm sure we can find 10 men who'd be happy to learn from you.
People here, so far away from civilization, know how to look after themselves. The men have broad shoulders, strong hands, and look as though they'd know how to fight off orcs. However, you can't persuade them to join in the attack with you.
There are too few here. The orc camp is huge. Organise some more help, then we'll come with you.
You enter Seaton and take a look round. The village seems much emptier than on your last visit. Most of the workers must now be underground. From far off, you can already see the orc camp, blocking the path to the firstlings. You move away from the path and observe the camp from a nearby cliff. You see strong fortifications and hundreds of orcs.
Finally! Now that's what I call a challenge. Let's go!
Frontal attacks may have worked in the past, but this here is more like capturing a stronghold. It requires a large military force or a good strategy. Both would be best. We should search for another way.
I could go and take a look and perhaps improve our chances for an attack.
You remember how the actor had transformed himself into Lot Yonin and Nudin in Mifidania. You certainly wouldn't bet against him being able to walk through the orc camp unnoticed.
I'll come with you. If I stay in the shadows, they won't see me.
The actor nods gratefully.
I'll come too. I also know how to keep myself hidden.
Nomura wants to object, but you are quicker.
Thank you, Geralda. 2 more eyes and ears would be helpful on such a mission. Listen, try to sabotage their defenses, and if you can safely take out a couple of guards, then do it. But don't take any big risks. Come back here if things get too hairy.
Namora and Rodario rejoin you without any particular urgency. The infiltration was a complete success. No one detected the two of them. Your path leads you once again to the Minstrel Castle Tavern. The warm, familial glimmer from inside is, as ever, inviting. You leave the Minstrel Castle behind you and continue on your way. You arrive at an empty jetty on Lake Anteria. You can see several fishing boats on the lake, and there's a small village on the other shore.
Ah, Pulbrook. What an idyllic little place. And then there's the miller's daughter.
You turn around and continue on your journey. The size of the fields and the farmsteads grow as you get closer to Valenciensis, the old border city in the north. The old city wall is much too small for the size of today's settlement. Everywhere little cottages, and even the odd magnificent estate, extend beyond the wall.
The house that Henson was talking about must be somewhere on the south wall. We need the bell if we're going to open the path through the mountains.
You follow the street to an estate on the south wall, which is surrounded by a fence. The paved path to the door is lined with hydrangea. You knock on the door gently, and after a while it is opened by a chubby man in expensive clothes. The man gives you a fleeting glance.
We don't want to buy anything.
He intends to close the door again without waiting for your answer. You put your foot in the crack of the door.
Wait, you have a rare bell in there, Fire Eater, am I right?
The man pauses.
Fire Eater? How?
Before he can finish what he's saying, a red-haired woman pushes past him. She is also wearing expensive clothes and is heavily made up. After she gives him a stern look, the man disappears into the house. She scrutinizes you with greenish-blue eyes.
How do you know about that, Shorty?
I, heard from someone in the city.
In the city? But the city whose gates are closed to everyone. Of course, I believe that. Go to Tion, groundling, and don't come back.
Before you can reply, the door is slammed in your face. You go back to the rest of the group.
Doesn't look like it went too well. Maybe I should try my luck, Tungdil. I can be very persuasive.
Rodario follows the hydrangea-lined path to the door in elegant strides. He knocks on the door energetically, and a little later the door is opened by a red-headed woman. When she sees Rodario, her expression lightens. She opens the door fully and takes a tentative step forward.
What can I do for you? Are you a singer? An actor? Or a lute player?
The name is Rodario Fairmaid. Gifted showman, mime and dramatist. At your service.
Rodario elegantly pulls the hat from his head and bows before her.
Your wonderful hydrangeas really caught my attention. You have exquisite taste.
The woman's greenish-blue eyes sparkle at his charm, and Rodario can't deny himself a smile, confident of victory.
Oh, you are a real charmer, Mr. Rodario. I'm sure you flatter all the ladies like this, don't you?
Oh no, by no means, my love. I just can't avoid it when I see beauty such as yours.
Oh, don't play with my feelings, Mr. Rodario. You probably haven't even noticed the color of my eyes.
She playfully turns her head away to hide her face.
I will never be able to forget your greenish-blue eyes as long as I live.
A smile follows, then a glance from those eyes, which are indeed a greenish blue.
It would seem to me you have a skilled tongue and a love of details.
Anyone who does not notice your beauty must be walking through life with eyes closed. In terms of my tongue...
Oh, Mr. Rodario. How about a private presentation of your skills?
Rodario lays an experienced hand around the woman's waist and disappears into the house with her.
At your service, my dear.
After an hour, Rodario comes out of the house with a broad grin on his face and the bell in a bag.
The bell, as ordered. Apart from the esteemed Nomura, no woman has ever resisted my sweet words, not to mention my hands when...
All right, all right.
You feel your cheeks turning red as you imagine what Rodario has just done. Before you can finish what you're saying, the screams of a woman come from the nearby woods. Nomura disappears into the forest and returns after a short while.
A woman and 2 men are in a small clearing and 5 archers in the forest. I'm sure you can work out what that means.
Nomura, keep your eyes on the archers. Everyone else, prepare yourselves for a fight.
Without any particular urgency, you approach the thieves. In the clearing, the woman is still pretending she's being threatened by the 2 men.
Enough of the acting. We know what's going on. The 5 archers can come out now too if they want.
The men in front of you are clearly confused.
Wait a minute. Give us your provisions and gold and,
Ugh, don't bother.
The woman has stood up and stands in front of the men.
We'll just take what we need. Grab 'em!
As she draws her sword, the 2 men charge and several arrows come flying out of the forest. A number of the arrows reach their target, and not all of them bounce off your armor. The quicker of the 2 men in the clearing has, in the meantime, almost reached you, and seems to be weighing up his options. But before he can decide, Boindil charges towards him. Boindil's axes gouge into the man's shoulders, and he wrenches him from his feet with the force of the attack. The other man and the woman stare at you in shock, turn around and run away from you and into the forest. The arrow fire also stops abruptly.
they're running away!
Let them go. We don't have time to waste on them.
The all too familiar stench of tallow and grease reaches your nose. You know what this means.
At once.
Attack! Let's go! He hardly put up a fight! My hammer! Who's next?
Kill! Yes? At once.
Yeah!
On my way.
He hardly put up a fight!
End it! At once.
Attack!
I didn't hit you very hard!
A bit too much, was I? Come here, you! He hardly put up a fight!
Disgusting.
Why not?
As good as done.
He hardly put up a fight!
Bad luck for you!
Huh? Who's next?
On my way!
Attack! And what now? Yes, yes!
What is it?
Fire creature! Huh? At once.
Yeah! And what now?
I didn't hit you very hard!
Huh?
Bye forever!
On my way.
And what now? He hardly put up a fight!
Kill! Vile creature!
Huh?
What's up?
Yes?
Yeah! Attack! I'm with you!
Don't take it personally. The other one bites the dust.
I'm with you!
I didn't hit you very hard.
Of course! Come here, you!
Oink, oink, little piggies!
Let's go! At once.
Taste my hammer!
At once, yes.
He
Understood.
hardly put up a fight!
At once.
Yeah!
Pow! Another one bites the dust.
And what now?
Kill! And again.
Don't take it personally.
What is it?
Too easy.
Of course!
Pow! Another one bites the dust.
What's up?
As good as
Why
done.
not?
Yes? Understood.
Attack!
And
Who's
again.
next?
On my way. Uh-huh. At
I'm
once.
with you!
Understood.
Yes, yes! Come here, you!
Huh? Vile creature!
While the others take care of their wounds, you find a brown, well-cared-for leather bag. You are certain the bag hadn't belonged to an orc, and inside, you actually find a decorated ox skull.
This will please Henson.
With this, you are a step closer to a way through the mountains, or a huge disappointment. You enter Seaton and take a look round. The priest is lost in thoughts, standing in front of the temple, as if he couldn't decide whether to go in or not. You nod goodbye, and the priest returns the gesture. The old ruins of Wackenstein appear before you.
Henson, do you have a minute?
Have you found Elga?
To begin the festival, we need the ox skull, the fire eater bell, and the vervain, right?
Exactly. Then we need to set the skull on fire, ring the bell, and burn the herbs. And then it happens.
You're quite sure you're wasting your time. A huge festival in the middle of nowhere? But you pin your hopes on there being a spark of truth in every story, and that somehow a path will open up through the mountains when you carry out the old ritual.
See you later, Henson.
Let me know if you see Elga.
All right. Something's not quite right. Henson,
Have you
to begin the festival, we need...
Exactly. Then we need to set the skull on fire.
You're quite sure you're wasting...
See you later.
Let me know if you see Elga.
Fits like a glove.
Loud and powerful music follows the fog and the figures, crushing over your head in roaring waves. The force of the music clouds your senses, and it seems as if the statue of the blind guardian rises from his throne. You want to draw your companion's attention to it, but then you suddenly realize that you have a tankard of ale in your hand. You instinctively try it, and are happy to note that you haven't drunk such good ale since Ogre's death. The night becomes a colourful whirl of ale, music, dance and ecstasy. You can no longer remember why you're here or who you're celebrating with. For a few hours you forget what was and what is to come. You are completely in the here and now. You wake up the next morning. You're lying on your back and staring into a sky that is much too bright. You turn onto your side with difficulty and see your companions all around you, but no one else. The remains of a wild party, campfires, tents, and ale tankards are still there, but the magic has gone. You stand up, muttering curses, and try to suppress the taste in your mouth and the pain in your head. To your great surprise, you see that the stony figure of the blind guardian has revealed a tunnel that leads into the rock of the mountain.
If we go on now, we probably can't come back. The mechanism looks like it will close the pass behind us. We should be sure that we have done all we need to.